crafty friends, I'm here today to show you how I made this card here. So when you grab the ribbon and you spin it, it reveals a hidden image or message, and it's an amazing impact and surprisingly simple. So let's get started. So I start with a card base. Now I've used half an A4 sheet, and that measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 7/8, and I've just scored it down the middle halfway at 4 1/8 of an inch. So there is my card base. Now for my matte piece, so this is mint macaron. My matte piece I'm doing with Dapper Denim, and I've just used a panel of the By the Shore DSP, and this piece here is a 1/4 inch smaller than that, so that will measure 5 5/8 of an inch by 3 7/8, and this is an 1/8 of an inch smaller, so it has a very small border there. So I'm going to start by adhering this piece down first. So normally I just go around my outside, but I'm going to put a little bit more snail here because that's where I'm going to cut away my circle. Now I've decided to ink around the edges of mine. You don't have to do that, that's optional. And normally I would ink before I apply my snail, but I don't always do things the easy way. Okay, so now we've got our matte piece, our feature panel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the layering circle framelits. So that's these ones here. And I'm going to take the largest and then the second largest circle. So first thing I'm going to do with the smaller of the two, so this is my larger one. I'm just going to put that over to the side. With my smaller one, I'm going to center it on 3 sides, and I'm just going to go run that through the big shot. And this is what we have. Now using the same circle that I cut with and then the largest scallop, I've gone and cut a piece of mint macaron out, and that is going to be a frame. So I'm just going to glue that down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out of just regular copy paper. I've cut out a circle using the larger of the framelits. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that into quarters. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give me a true center. So then when we open it out, where these two lines intersect, that is my true center. And then I'm just going to, with my piercing tool, just pierce a hole into that. So we'll use that in a minute. Now for my stamping, I'm using Very Vanilla, and I'm going to use Love Sparkles and Moon Baby. So for my first panel, I'm going to take this stamp, and my second one I'm going to use this. Now I'm going to stamp with the archival because I'll be doing a little bit of colouring with the watercolour pencils. Now I'm not sure if my video cut out, but all I've done now after cutting my circle out of copy paper is I've stamped with the archival black onto Very Vanilla. Now this is going to be our mechanism. So one of my circles are going to be here, and this is going to be my other circle. So I'll just continue and finish doing this stamping. So I'm going to use my Stamp-A-Majig here because sometimes I'm not the best at lining up. So once I've finished stamping, I'm just going to give this a quick once over with my heat tool to set that ink. And a little something I do just to make sure that it has set, because I've been caught out before, I flip it over onto some copy paper or scrap paper and just give it a rub. And if I have anything transfer, then I know it needs a little bit more heating. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that a little bit of a colour with our watercolour pencils. Now every time I colour with my watercolour pencils and I use my aqua painter, I just keep an old washcloth next to it so I can dry off my brush and I don't get the surface too wet. Okay, so when you're happy with your colouring, just give it another quick heat with your heat tool to dry it fully. Alright, so now we get to make some fun. So now you need to decide which is going to be your top image. Now for me, this is going to be my top. So I'm going to pop my larger of the circle. Remember, we've got two sizes. So that is my smaller one, which I created for the outside. So I'm going to use my larger circle and place it over until I'm happy where it is, and then I'm going to cut that out. So there I've got my image. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to place this template that we made directly over here, and you're going to have this lined up so you've got it top to bottom. Now it helps if you place it on your grid paper to work out your top and bottom, and then you're going to line up this template so that it is exactly over there. Then with our paper piercer, we're going to pierce that hole in the center of that cardstock. And following this fold line that we made, we're going to cut right up to the middle. So we have this. Now with our other image, we're going to cut that so that that is approximately 3 3/4 of an inch square. So just make sure that that's going to sit behind there and not poke out the front. So when my picture sits like that, I can see I need to take off a little bit more off the bottom. And that's fine now. So grab your piercing mat, line up your image to where you want it to be, and place your paper template so that it is exactly top to bottom and in the center, and then pierce that hole in the middle. So now what we're going to do, we're going to use 2 brads for this project. So we're going to place your brad through the middle of this one and through the middle there. Now just make a mark where the bottom is, and then we're going to cut directly up that line in a straight line up to our hole. So this is what we have. So both pieces are going to have these legs. So now in this piece here, so this is creating our pull tab now. What we're going to do, we're going to place a hole approximately 3/8 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch in here. So this is where we're going to put our ribbon pull. So I'll show you how I make that. So I'm going to take a little section of ribbon and it's handy, the ones with the line in the middle. This is the natural trim with the silver line. So I place my brad through here, and now because I don't want a lot showing through, I'm just going to trim that off. Now something I do, because these cards get a lot of play, I just grab a lighter and I just sear the edge of that. Now that is going to stop this ribbon from fraying and untangling. You don't have to do that. That's just something I've found helps. So I'm going to place that onto there. Now making sure my brad legs are up and down so they're parallel to my cut. I'm going to open that out, and if you want you can put a little bit of tape over that. So I'm just going to recut where I placed that tape and just trim off the excess. So once that's burnished in, we've got no sharp edges. Okay, so now what we need to do, we're going to line up these. So you can sort of see how it starts to work now. So we're going to line that up and we're going to place our brad in the center. Now using a 1-inch circle punch, we're going to just, this doesn't need to be exact, so I'm just placing a hole here. And that's going to go through there and hold that mechanism together. So that's like that. Now what we need to do is we need to stop this from coming up and losing our magic. So what I do, there's a couple of different ways to do that, but the easiest is to grab a glue dot. Now we need to place our glue dot as close to the edge as possible. There we go, they're very sticky. So my glue dot is sitting down here. Now this is going to get covered by the outside of our card. So we've got that ready. So now I'm just going to pop a glue dot in each of these 4 corners. And I'm just going to place this where I want it. So once we've roughly got it there, line it up and push down on your glue dots. Now if that's poking up a little bit, just tuck that one under. So now we can test it out. And there you are. So I'm just going to finish off my card. I'm going to pop a couple of dimensionals here just to give a little bit of height. Now I've used the clouds from the Up and Away thinlits. And I've also used one of the dies from the Sliding Stars framelits, and I've just popped my sentiment from Moon Baby on that. And I'm just going to pop that on there. So now I can put this onto my card base. So just to finish, I'm going to pop my panel, front panel, onto my card base. And on the inside, and of course bling. I don't think I could survive without bling. So there you are. There's my finished card for my example today. I hope you like it and I hope you try it. It is so much fun, and the person who you give it to is going to love it equally as much as you do. Until next time everybody, stay crafty. Bye.